saw them reposition and then go back in with it. It was really nice.
I've got to agree. So moving into draft number 2, I mean, what do we want to see here from Cloud9? What should they change up? I think, to be honest, that maybe it's a ban-related thing. Like, they banned very meta bans, and then Team Solo Mid played Jewel, which isn't... I don't know if you can call it meta yet. It's on its way there.
I would call it meta.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand why you would, but is it ban-worthy? We saw it over in Europe. It got banned against Cyclone.
Yeah.
I think if it's Cloud9 that's pick-worthy... I mean, that isn't that they had Jewel when they beat TSM last week, right?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Bacon.
You're supposed to ask me this before we get set so I can look it up.
Oh, we're live?
I've got it all set. I've got it all set in the other room. I can pull it up.
Yeah.
I don't have it on me.
Very convenient excuse.
You need those Google glasses.
Yeah,
Heads-up
right.
display. You've got all the data. It's there. It's just not accessible yet.
Exactly.
All right. Anyway, let's get into this draft properly. Cloud9 has banned away Fortress as their first ban. Team Solo Mid answered with the Adagio, even though they know that means the Lyra goes to Cloud9. Interesting choice.
Looks very similar to game number 1. The draft is identical thus far, just with the team swapped.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see the direction that TSM take here.
Koshka again. Huh. I mean, this is something they did at Worlds. They put a lot of emphasis on this Koshka pick. It worked out very well for them until the Scarf started coming out.
Yeah, it was actually their first game at Worlds, I think, that they first picked it. And we were all sitting there like, whoa, that seems a little bit eager.
Yeah, at first we thought they were just like trying to flex on their opponents because it was, you know, from a different region and they were just trying to show off a little bit. But then they ended up running it really throughout all of Worlds. Other teams started picking it up, so it was really just them being ahead of the curve.
I thought there were a lot of drafts earlier where Koshka would have fit in and it wasn't picked. It's just very interesting to see it as the first pick here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a mentality change, right? It's like, oh, we're not going to pick it when it kind of makes sense, but we're going to pick it before we know if it makes sense.
They're going to make it make sense. That's what's going to happen. I mean,
I want you to make it make sense, Humanist.
Basically, Cloud9 know that they're going to have a lot of pressure in their jungle, so it means that whatever you draft here, it has to be within, you know, you have to keep in mind that you have to be able to fight from, like, minute 2 in this game.
Well, Team Solo Mid have a chance to pick up another hero here. As always, when you're banning or picking against a Lyra, you got to think about what works with it. So many options right now.
So much silence.
I'm trying to, because there's too
So
many
Vox,
options.
Catherine.
We can't really like predict what they're going to pick because they can go wherever they want.
That's your job. It's literally your job.
I'd like to see them grab their captain here, and it's probably, yeah, this will be their flash on the glaive. But
will it?
Most likely. I would have liked, if this was gonna be the way the draft worked, I would have rather seen the glaive picked up as the first pick.
Yeah.
It's always risky if you want the glaive to leave it after your first pick.
Yeah, that's what kind of confuses me. But maybe this is something that Cloud9 would have banned out more than the glaive.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is they picked Koshka first to make it seem like they weren't going to pick glaive, so that Cloud9 banned other things that they would have eventually wanted to pick if the glaive was picked, like the lance. You got to look a couple of layers deep, but it's there.
So they knew that Cloud9 knew, that TSM knew, that Cloud9 knew.
Basically. That's what I'm saying, in effect. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Flash.
Not at all. I mean, Flash X, we've always touted him as being one of the best drafting minds in the game. So,
yeah. And I personally, I don't have the stats on how often these guys are scrimming each other. And I think that has a huge part in when it comes down to these drafts, especially in the mind games of the draft.
That's a good point. Cloud9, they're actually going to be picking up a Jewel after Team Solo Mid ran over them with it in Game 1.
Definitely, if you can't beat them, join them. People can't seem to beat the Jewel, so
it's pretty
get her
tough
on your
to beat the Jewel right now. Question is, though, I mean, because Jewel's been dumpstering on most laners. I mean, the Vox, the Ringo, they've been struggling into the Jewel because she just runs straight at you, and there's more damage output there.
Okay.
The question is statement.
Yeah. No, I mean, you guys are here. Like, that's the question. I don't know what the actual answer is.
There was no question in what you said, though.
All right. Let's talk about that. There's not a draft happening.
Oh!
Come on.
See, when the world starts to fall in around you, you know, you just get picked right back up, team. Let me bring this mic close to my mouth. I don't know if you heard that Ozo pick come in there.
So the interesting thing to me is last week, at the end of the week, I was actually talking to you, and he said it's just so good when you have Lyra and Lance is banned. Ozo is one of the best picks you can grab. They have Lyra. They banned Lance. Is Ozo one of the best picks they could have grabbed?
Ooh, this would be one of the drafts where I would say it probably does okay, but it's not like the best. The best would be like if they have a Ringo already picked, if they have a squishy weapon laner, even a squishy CP laner. You know, it doesn't matter if it's Celeste, I guess.
I do think that Ozo does one thing which is kind of counter to the rest of Cloud9's comp, and that's with Bangarang, you're isolating one person, and I think Jewel wants everyone to be grouped.
Nah, necessarily. I mean, almost all the fights we saw earlier, Jewel was ditching her team and the enemy team while Ringo or Vox or whoever is trying to run away from the fight, and she's just chasing them down. Ringo's the last picker for TSM. I think Ringo should struggle into the Ozo for sure.
Yeah, I actually really like Cloud9's draft here. I feel like there's a lot of tools they have that can really shut down.
Funnily enough, I actually, now that they picked Ringo, agree. But I wasn't really anticipating Team Solomon to pick a Ringo there.
Well, that makes it a really smart pick, doesn't it, Bacon? I wanted to do another The Question Is and not say a question, but I couldn't do it.
Tilting me so hard. Ozo, though, it's funny, actually, because before the game I was saying, you know, I have actually been playing a lot of Ozo recently. I've been trying to get into it, because I think it's just one of those, like, opaque picks. I see it and I'm just like, why? And I want to understand why, and I think in order to do that, I got to put myself out there and give Ozo a try.
You do.
To understand the Ozo, you must become the Ozo.
You have to.
Exactly. But I have to admit, I don't yet. I'm not there.
Glaive does pretty well against the Ozo. If Koshka finds him one-on-one and he can't bounce off anything, she's most likely going to win the fight there. He might be able to sustain himself long enough for an ally to get within range to help him out, and then he can turn it. So one-on-ones with Koshka will be hard. If Glaive can afterburn him while he's bouncing, he can get shut down pretty quickly. But otherwise, he has the tools.
All right. One word. Who wins?
Cloud9? Is that one word?
It could have been if you did C9. That would have been like kind of a word.
That's not a
Bacon.
Really? Well, I guess if
Bacon,
it qualifies,
Bacon.
C9.
Pick.
I
Who
just
wins?
did.
You said C9? Okay, awesome. All right, let's find out who's right as we head on to the Halcyon Fold with our shoutcasters, Dalsy and Jingy.
Welcome, guys, to the second game, and what you're seeing is Cloud9 invading straight into the jungle of TSM. Gotta get those predictions out quicker. Tasty Bacon. It's all good. Nothing missed out. You could have said TSM. TSM's one word, but hey, never mind. We'll have to see if Cloud9 does come through. And look at where Best Chuck is right now, in the jungle of Cloud9. Gabe Vizzle going to spot him out, stop the recall with that Lyra. I think the Lyra wins the 1v1, but Old School's going to come and say, hello, some action for me. I will take it, yes please. First blood on the cards for Old School, as long as he can get the killing blow. No rocket lump, it's going to go to Gabe Vizzle. Whoops-a-days. I guess first blood is first blood.
First blood is first blood, and it's a very quick first blood. Or first blood. It was just saying first blood lots. But, I feel like, so in the last game between these two teams, between Cloud9 and TSM, we did see Gabe Vizzle picking up that Captain Glaive, which I think a lot of us felt didn't work so well. I feel like TSM have this habit if they always like to play what their opponents played if they lost. So now we're seeing FlashX playing the Captain Glaive, if that makes sense.
Yep. They are sticking on to that Koshka for Von C, so the aggression will still be available. Cloud9 though, they say we can make this duel work for ourselves. They pretty much steal away the Lyra as well. Ozo picked up for Joseph. That is very interesting.
The fun pick, which I actually think could really work really well, can dive straight into the backline for straight onto Best Chuck NA every single time. That's something that he's gonna have to be very careful about. That Bangarang, once he hits that level 6, definitely make things difficult. And again, we're just going to be talking about important prioritizes. Okay, Von C.
Von C just jumps in, takes the tree and gets out alive. Not even worried. Joseph tries to chase him down. Long range acro bounce there, but It's just not enough damage so far. He needs to be hitting multiple combos. Now Von Z's in position to steal this Elder Treant away. Everyone rooted up. They're going to go straight for Gabe Vizzle, lay down the damage. There goes the Treant over onto Von Z. Gabe Vizzle will fall. Easy pickings for this Koshka. And now they're looking to get Joseph as well. It's going to go over a double here for Von Z. Old School under fire as well. Things just going so wrong for Cloud9.
Yeah, very wrong indeed. It was nice to see that they were just focusing on Gabe Vizzle, trying to burst him down as much as they could. And actually, Von C, with only 2 crystal bits, actually did really well against Gabe Vizzle and I Love Joseph, who I Love Joseph definitely has a bit more crystal power than Von C does. So that was a fun matchup that we're seeing, that we might be seeing again. Von C, no, actually, Von C's going to be okay. He's not going to be caught out here. And Cloud9 being a little bit aggressive here.
Yeah, no, they are looking to try and regain the Elder Treant rooting up both Gabe Vizzle and Joseph was what allowed for this double kill to go over to Von C so easily. Now Joseph looking to be aggressive. Von C trying to get on in there. The Bright Bulwark will stop him from engaging now, but Cloud9 will have to disengage. Can't allow for this Koshka to get too close. The jungle shop just about to spawn, and you can see that they're going to purchase it up here. That fountain does go to Flash X just before as he finds a teleport for himself, but will be Joseph purchasing here, everyone purchasing Von C as well as Cloud9 make their way back to the lane.
Yeah, we see Flash X picking up that quick fountain there. Gabe Vizzle's a few hundred gold off. He's probably going to guess it soon in the next... Well, he'll have enough gold in the next, I'll say 30 seconds or so. But right now, TSM, they're picking their fights carefully. Koshka, we are seeing her roaming around the map, but not being as aggressive. And I think part of the reason is, if you do look at the 1v1 that we could potentially be seeing between I Love Joseph and Von C, it's actually very difficult to call who would win. And actually, I would tend to favor the Ozo over the Koshka actually in these instances, just because of the reach. Oh, they're going in!
Oh no, Old School completely knocked out of position, but he stays alive for now. Joseph gonna go in, they're looking to try and lock him up, and Best Chuck gonna find a kill. That's gonna be Old School falling to Von C as well. It's just Gabe Vizzle left alive as Best Chuck goes for a bit of a cheeky tower dive, but man, Cloud9, they're just getting completely shut down.
They really are. You know, what we're seeing right now with this Captain Glaive, Captain is we want to be seeing those
Captain, my captain, Glaive.
Oh, Glaive, exactly. Early on, with the Captain Glaive, exactly. You want to be seeing the afterburn. You want to be seeing the repositioning. They managed to get Old School. He did use his rocket leap to get away, but you certainly caught them unawares. Did a lot of damage, and they took advantage of the damage, and just pushed 2 kills out of that. And we're seeing them just drawing a very slow lead ahead. And actually, TSM, they kind of remind me of like the old Team Secret. Like the synergy is, they've been together for a few seasons now. It's so strong. Ooh.
Comparing a North American team to a European team.
I know, it's controversial.
Interesting.
Baiting
Controversial, yeah.
Twitch
It's going to be
chat
Cloud9 though. Looking for an engage. Joseph getting baited in. Maybe you're baiting the wrong people here as Von C goes in, but there's the bangerang, knocks him straight back in, and that's going to be Von C falling. No fear. This time he should have it. As now Joseph looks to engage further. The acro bounce lands, but they can't find any more. Von C going to consider how close he was. A little bit too close. Eye over that aftershock purchase.
That's what we mean about the Ozo. Is that once you get into the late game, the regeneration that you do get from your acrobats is just so useful, especially if you pair that with a Lyre who is able to heal you and just stay relatively far back in the back line and just heal you whenever she sees the need to do that. Whereas Von C, what we need to be seeing is just them jumping straight in, bursting them down as fast as possible. But as we do get into the late game, it is going to be a lot more harder for them to do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. For Von C, he has a ticking clock above his head. This early game, as we head into mid-game, will be what kind of dictates whether Von C can continue the aggression, but in the previous game it was enough. You can see he's not dissuaded, jumped straight towards Old School there to try and lay down a bit of poke. Joseph will make his way back up to the lane. TSM, they are still keeping up so much pressure onto Cloud9, you know, consistently trying to keep Old School on his back feet.
It's working. Old School, he's doing well with the farm. He's keeping him and Best Chuck NA are staying very even right now. But I'm gonna have to agree with the analyst desk. I think Cloud9 definitely have the advantage in terms of compositions. TSM are supposed to be very aggressive in the early game, and they definitely have done so. Oh, here we go again.
Oh,
The
yeah, here we
afterburn.
go. The afterburns go in. Old School disengaged. There's Vonzi knocked in with that Bangarang. But look at Old School's health. It's melting and he gets taken on out of the fight. Joseph trying to do his best to get a return kill onto Vonzi. Has the shield. And that's going to be the help from Lyra. Gabe Bizzle able to find that before. That is Joseph falling. Now Gabe Bizzle trying to escape. Still with ultimate in hand. Very, very safe at this point. But Flash X is in position. He wants that afterburn onto the Lyra. Won't be able to find it though. Another 2-1 for TSM. It goes in TSM's way.
I think it's still very close, so I think every single team fight, I actually find it very difficult to call who's going to win. And it's been going quite back and forth every single time. And Old School, he's not been blocking the afterburns, and I partly think he's just saving his Rocket Leap for that purpose, and then using his reflex block for the for the Yummy Catnip Frenzy, which I think would do a little bit more damage if he was caught out by that. But right now, we're getting to this point. The gold mine's very full. Neither turret has been taken. And I think what we're just seeing is that Cloud9 are just playing the careful waiting game. Just keeping their defenses up. They're doing a good job so far. And once we do see all the heroes on the side of Cloud9 ramping up, that's when they can just really go all in.
Certainly. Atlas Pauldron finished for Gabe Bizzle, so we'll be able to shut down some of the damage that comes out of Best Chuck if the captain for Cloud9 is able to get close to the fight. Have to see how aggressive Gabe Bizzle's positioning is during the fights. It will really rely on it. A very interesting usage of the big red button. Doesn't connect onto anything, possibly just trying to push the wave out before TSM gets in position to start hammering away at this turret. You can see Vonzi's pushed up very aggressively in that top push.
That they are. We do see Jill picking up the breaking point now. What to say? I think Humana said earlier on that he does prefer to see the tornado trigger over the breaking point, and I think I have to agree with him. I think the tornado trigger is just a bit more. Oh, I don't know why. I just think it's a bit more. Oh, hang on, they're going to get the gold mine. Rusi seeing on steel. Maybe a big red bus. Oh no, we're not going to be seeing that anytime soon, but Cloud9 are going in for the steel.
Imperial Sigil goes on in, but it's not going to be taken out. The fight started up. It's going to be Best Chuck though going extremely low. Z gets taken on down, but they find a kill onto Old School as well. Joseph bouncing forward and backwards, looking to try and keep this one up, but Vonzi gets the heal. Now he wants to re-engage. Maybe too soon, my friend. He will fall to Gabe Bizzle. A very crazy team fight. But there you see it, the aggression from Gabe Bizzle with that ultimate to get into the fight. Immediately puts down that Atlas Pauldron straight onto Best Chuck's face and completely cuts him out of the fight.
It's exactly what they did. And also, if you look at it, Best Chuck's positioning was a little bit off. He was just standing and he was just taking damage from I Love Joseph and Gabe Bizzle the whole time, who were right next to him. And by the time that he was able to pick up the kill on there onto Old Skill, he was already so low that it just wasn't enough. And once again, Flash X had to back away. I think with this Ringo, you want to see him a little bit more in the back line. And right now, I don't think we're seeing that.
Currently very even this game, but the gold has swung in TSM's way. 2,000 just about. It doesn't feel like it here. We're going to see the Crucible finished for Flash X. That's really where the difference lies if you look across the board in the items. Just TSM have a little bit more under their wings, but the Crystal Weapon Infused for both these carries here. We'll have to see if they're able to win out a fight because of them. I Love Joseph still has his ticking away from earlier. This turret, Cloud9 trying to put the aggression onto it. In fact, they want Vonzi. They jump over, steal away that Treant for themselves.
They are. I think what's worrying me is I'm just looking at I Love Joseph on the Ozo, and he is just able to get onto Best Truck NA every single time, which is not what Best Truck NA wants. He doesn't have the defense to try and counter that. And oh, we're going in with the Hellfire Brute. I don't know if we're going to see any engages on top of this. Doesn't look like it.
Once again to position, but that bright bulwark goes out. Cloud9 say no. Now we just have to see if Cloud9 look to try and reset the fight. They have Atlas Pauldrons on both Joseph and Gabe Bizzle can really slow down the attack speed of Best Chuck here, who's isolated from the fight, and Old School dives on in. The Acro Bounce is not landing there from Joseph, isn't quite able to get to Best Chuck NA. So Cloud9 will just back away.
Yeah, we did see, that was actually a nice move that we saw from Flash X. So the moment it looked like I Love Joseph was going to jump onto Best Truck NA, we saw Flash X using the Afterburn immediately to try and counter and just punt him away. It didn't actually quite happen, but it was a really nice move coming out from FlashX, and this is exactly what we're going to be seeing coming out from him in these upcoming fights. It's just to keep Best Truck NA safe. He doesn't have the defense to fight against Joseph. Oh, this is a 2v3 they're going in.
Yep, and Old School was able to disengage straight off the bat. The reflex block from him, nice usage. In fact, it's an Aegis already. But Old School putting so much priority on saving, building up that shielding, the ability to block out some of this damage from Koshka, and have that reflex block up very often.
It makes sense. We're just seeing Vainglory jumping into Old School every single time. I Love Joseph is just, I think, is a little bit too nimble for them to try and catch on to. Oh dear, I don't know about this. It's a bit of a 2v3 situation. I think Cloud9 should have this. Very risky.
TSM can steal it away. So many abilities that will allow them to. Big red button goes out. Here's Best Chuck. He's in the fight in this. TSM looking for the engage straight away, straight on in. They're going to try and trade it around. They're going straight onto Best Chuck, but Joseph going so low. Can he heal up for the fight? Sustain as he bounces back and forth. Yes, he can find Best Chuck before he too loses his life. But Vonzi has to dive away. The gold miner goes to Cloud9, and FlashX now in a dire situation. He is, though, able to find a kill and run away. Vonzi now fighting against Old School. Old School disengages, trying to run away from this Koshka, but you cannot run. You cannot hide. An ace for TSM.
Oh, Vaughn, see, I did not think, the whole time in the fight, the Goldmine was helping, which was absolutely not helping the situation at all, but they were able to control the fight. Vonzi just managed to pull that extra energy out at the end, just to try and catch up to Old School. I don't know how he did that, but it was very impressive.
He went straight over to the Treant, took it away whilst the gold miner was being completed, looking ahead for the chase down rather than for the gold miner.
Smart move, and I think that's exactly what TSM needed. And I've got to say, actually, by focusing on I Love Joseph near the start, it actually worked really well for them. They kind of just isolated Old School and went, okay, we need to take out I Love Joseph, because before in the fights, if they took out Old School first, I Love Joseph would just come in there and just sweep up.
Yeah, I agree. Focus him down, get him out of the fight. They did lose Best Truck fairly early on, but Cloud9 just didn't have anything left in them, and the ace comes through. They get the turret as well, TSM here. They basically discount what that gold miner means to Cloud9. The gold still in the advantage for TSM as they're building up to a 3k lead here. However, we'll have to see how Vonzi is able to scale throughout this game, because Cloud9, if they can hold out, if they can stay close, they don't lose too many objectives along the way. We've hit this 15-minute mark. They're in a good position to get this duel, get this Ozo going. Not if Old School gets caught out, though. That's going to be him locked up, stunned away. There's no way he survives. Now Gabe Bizzle trying to escape as well, but Vonzi's quick on the hunt, looking to try and chase down the Hellfire Brew. Going to tick on through. FlashX dives as well, but Joseph is able to push them all back. This Ozo bouncing back and forth in the middle of the fight. Vonzi, though, he's not done! And Gabe Bizzle will go so low! It's going to be the keycap swiping for that final blast of the damage. And now it just leaves Joseph to hold the base together. Vonzi will look to try and take that one away as the fast shot from Best Chuck finds the ace. So many isolated fights. TSM take a 1v3, a 1v3, and then another 1v3, and it just gives them a very easy ace in the end.
Could they have been any more aggressive, I guess, in the voice of Chandler? Because I was like, they went under like 2 turrets. Vonzi just kept going just after Gabe Bizzle, but that is what they need. We need to be seeing this aggression. A lot of times when we do see this Koshka being played is that they start off with good intentions, but then just back away from the fight. But again, okay, my gosh, that was a quick Kraken coming out from them.
Super quick. Possible stuff here for this team now. Cloud9 in so much trouble. Wonder how they actually get back into this game. At the moment, for TSM, they have such a huge advantage. The Kraken pushing straight on in. Old School just hasn't been as influential, hasn't got that monocle yet on this duel, and it is so necessary for the duel to be able to lay down the consistent damage. It's almost like he missed the memo on how to build it.
Savage. I think also part of the issue is that we are seeing TSM just throwing everything at them. He gets hit with the Afterburn, he gets hit with the Hellfire Brew, he also gets hit with the Yummy Catnip Frenzy.
Like this, straight on in, FlashX straight in. This time, Old School's trying to dive on forward. It's a messy fight. This ultimate from Lyra causing a lot of trouble, and Old School will be immediately taken away from the fight. Joseph doing his best, but he gets knocked away and taken on out. TSM are so strong, and the ace will spell the disastrous note here for Cloud9. Fonzie jumps on towards the base. He's going to give his life up because he doesn't care. They take the game 16-6, a clean 2-0 over Cloud9, and they'll be progressing to day 2.
That was just a ridiculous game. I really feel that Cloud9 should have had that game, but TSM, their aggression is just too much. That no fear, just fight sentiment is very much alive and still kicking. And poor Old School, the target of every single thing that TSM could throw at them, because once they took him out of the picture, they could just focus on I Love Joseph really easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible stuff from TSM. Such great focus on them to be able to focus the right targets, completely hold Cloud9 out. You know, I made that savage comment, Shinyi, but it was really to the testament of TSM to hold Cloud9 out of the game. And moving into day 2's games here, it almost seems like TSM are unstoppable here in North America.
TSM, they're just one of those teams that just get better with time. You know, they are in that team house. They've always had a very consistent performance, and it's just been getting better. Worlds, they play second. These Vainglory8 matches, they're playing these compositions. I think they're really making it work. The synergy is really on point, and really excited to see how they're going to do it tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, it is with that me and you say goodnight for the night. We'll be back tomorrow bringing the coverage for EU. So before that is all done, let's hand over to AJ and the desk to close this one out.
It's not just me and the desk here, though. We got Humanist and Tasty Bacon with us.
It's the boys.
Weed him.